Welcome to the Property Premier League, the weekly podcast where property meets Premier League football. I'm your host, Chris Mervyn, and joining me today is Jamie Asland. Each week, we'll dive into the world of property and football from the unique perspective of professionals who live and breathe both. So if you're passionate about property, Premier League football, or both, you're in the right place. Get ready for your weekly dose of all things property and football with the Property Premier League. Let's kick off. Good morning, Jay. Just before the podcast started, we were talking about interest rates. I was talking about Spurs. Oh, it's hard to keep yourself up all going, mate, isn't it? Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, upbeat and what a hard life as a estate agent. Well, especially as Spurs estate agents have anyway. So yeah, Steve's off on a well-deserved break with family this week, and obviously, quite rightly, he didn't have his Crystal Palace match at the weekend either. So he's had a real, hopefully, a nice stressless break, should we say. But mate, before we look at those results there as well, Everton, I got predicted again, mate. I told you, you're climbing, mate. You are climbing.
Cloud nine with that one, to be fair. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing what it makes the feel, and I appreciate it's difficult for you at the moment, but the feel of winning that, and I know he's probably that manager bounce has gone a little bit, but for us to win, it's the first time we won 2 games at home as well, so it's on the bounce, that is. So yeah, it's a pretty special one, to be honest. I think the fans made it, and I know you boys tried to, or boys and ladies tried to make it a fans experience, but what you was doing, what we've been doing for 4 years when we've been relegation battles, trying to just make it a hostile place to go.
Yeah, hostile and encouragement and all these things here, and certainly the Spurs fans got behind their team and backed them, etc. And unfortunately, the team didn't deliver. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's add to the stage. Look at the matches. Here we go. So it's going to be a short one this week anyway, purely because there's no matches for a few weeks anyway. But we can look at the England squad anyway and just talk through the England squad and decisions there anyway. Friday night saw pretty good result, to be honest. Bournemouth 2, Man U 2. I think we might have all said 2-2s, or one of us said 2-2.
We did say that, yeah. We said 2-2s, didn't we? I think we were arguing over a 1-1 or 2-2, so we were in the right ballpark with it. But I don't think we'd predict it to be one team 2-0 up and then, that's right, wasn't it? 2-0 up and then 2-2, wasn't it? Yeah, so I don't think we'd have predicted that, to be honest, but yeah.
No, I mean, Man U's still doing all right and getting results and points when they
help by all the teams around them, aren't they?
100%. And to be honest, even looking at the bottom as well, we're only staying out of it now because West Ham lost. So on the relegation battle there as well. Saturday saw quite a few good matches. First result of the day, which was that Leeds one? No, it wasn't. Because we'll start Brighton. Brighton 2, Liverpool 1.
That was the first one, half 12.
Yeah, Liverpool, they are just so sticky for them, isn't it? We'll look at the league in a minute. They're so sticky for them at the moment. After a good midweek performance, yes, it wasn't. They're not the sort of quality that of the Premier League teams, but Brighton just doing what Brighton do and just getting a result really. And at home, they're relatively strong. Liverpool flattering to deceive again. And after me saying a few weeks in a row now, I think they'll be up there. I'm question marks, to be honest. I am.
Yeah, but they're still sort of up there, aren't they? We'll see the league in a minute, and I know we've just touched on it about being helped by other teams, but them losing and Chelsea losing and Man United drawing, it doesn't mean the others aren't racing away from them. If that makes, I think the top 2 probably are racing away from everyone else now, but that. It's not like Man United or Chelsea or Liverpool are winning every week. Liverpool had a good run to get back to where they are, but out of them 3 teams, Chelsea didn't get any points, Man United got 1 point, and Liverpool got none. So it's sort of, Villa in there as well. Granted, Villa got 3 points, but they've lost 5 on the bounce, and now they're back in. So I think they're being helped by each other, but I think if one of them could string the last 7 games together, you'll definitely get yourself that 4th spot. If you could string just a good set of results out of maybe even 3 or 4 wins out of that, you'll probably find yourself further up than you probably would imagine.
Yeah, it's true, mate. It's true. Fulham had a good result, 3-1 against Burnley.
I think most people said 2-1 or something, or 3. So yeah, 3-0 or something. So we were right on that one.
Yeah, we thought they would be not comfortable, but they didn't have enough to they can score fine. It's just whether teams can score against them, really. I think I've just described the actual game of football there. Unbelievable. City and Crystal Palace postponed, obviously. Man City playing Arsenal in the cup there, which is the only saving grace for my footballing weekend, shall we say. But we'll move on to that in a minute. And then Everton 3, Chelsea 0. I touched on this just before we started doing the fixtures here. A great result. I actually predicted this as well. I thought Everton were going to beat Chelsea. Chelsea free falling, shall we say. They're not in sort of top 6 form by any means of
No.
imagination. So, did you watch that one, Jay, or did you
I
watch
did,
it?
yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't there because of, unfortunately, work come first. So
Yeah.
I couldn't make that one on Saturday. I've been to, obviously, as you know, I go to quite a few games. I'm quite lucky. So, but I was pretty gutted to miss that one live, should I say? Obviously, I enjoyed, obviously, the result and watching it at home, but it did look a pretty special atmosphere. And I know we've just touched on about it a minute ago, but it's sort of, we need to make, when we were in relegation battles, we welcomed a bussing every week. There was pyros, there was the fans behind you screaming and shouting. We're only human at the end of the day, and I know we joke about footballers being, but that's the support they need. And I know you've tried that at Tottenham, but we made it a special night, and we used to call it Fortress Goodison in the back in the day, when probably 2008 and 9, when we were in that 4th spot getting Champions League football and stuff. We it'd be Fortress at Goodison, and that's sort of where we're trying to take it back to at the moment. And it needed it, because I think you've mentioned it a few times about, you move to a new stadium, it needs to find its place and its soul. But if you did that every week, you'd have not a problem. But it's recreating that all the time.
Yeah, I get it. But to be honest, any good team is built on a good home form, isn't it? And without that, you're just a mid-table team, or even a relegation team like Spurs are. If you can't win both of those. But I think that you're exactly right. The atmosphere, it shouldn't matter if you're in a relegation battle, your home form, you should be backing the team and supporting them, and banners and streamers and crowds out and stuff like that, really, I think. So yeah, it's something like that, really. So I think that, it's a good thing to do at the end of the day, isn't it, really?
I think you've got to do everything you can to get that. You want your team to play without fear. You want them to be open. And I know you've said it about the groans and the moans that come with it. They are human. They will hear that. So if you can, at the end of it, if, like you said then, if your team don't turn up, you've got every right to be grumpy. You've got to do that, to be fair.
Yeah, definite. And then we had Leeds 0, Brentford 0. I think we might have said this might have been a draw as well, but good point. At least Leeds are getting points, I suppose, for them. Aside from the other teams at the bottom there, they're not getting much. So Leeds got another point, and Brentford, again, just ticking along. They've got, a good couple of results recently as well, haven't they? So,
and I think for Leeds, again, the points count. I know that, and every point they get, they're at home. I wouldn't have expected them to lose to Brentford. I thought that probably helped us out a little bit of Brentford, but it probably is that they're just thinking, just keep getting points, aren't they, Leeds? A win would be great, but points, they're at the top of the bottom, aren't they, at the moment? So it just keeps them moving forwards.
It does, mate. It does. Sunday, let's go into this. Newcastle 1, Sunderland 2. Newcastle taking a lead on that one as well. I watched a bit of that before I had to go and watch some football myself. And Sunderland got back into it. Brobby, we always said that, to be honest, the two players who made a massive difference in that, in my opinion, again, was Xhaka and Brobby. I think Brobby is a blooming handful, isn't he, up front for Sunderland. So they just couldn't handle him. And Newcastle, hoping to bounce back after that Barcelona loss as well. And they need to regroup over the next couple of games, definitely, to get themselves a bit higher, because they need to be higher for the PSR, like we said before. They won't be able to spend unless they get a lot higher. So
I can't believe that that Eddie Howe's still there, if I'm honest. Not that I want any manager to get sacked, but that's just a hell of a game to lose before a 2.5 week break. Been interesting that he's still there at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to get relegated. They're not going to get into the Champions League places.
Not a chance now.
So what's the point of changing the
manager? A week ago,
now?
I was saying that they were going to get the set. I was I was adamant they were going to finish 7th. They're now 6 points off it.
Yeah. Well, what a difference a week makes, crikey. And then we had Villa beating West Ham. I prayed for this. Find
Do you know what,
your
mate?
form. Come on, Watkins, score, please. Come on.
Do you know what? We've been saying Villa had lost 5 on the bounce. West Ham huffed and they puffed, but Villa, for me, had it pretty much now. Yeah, they were interesting game for them to come back with, and that's what made me think. We'll get to yours in a minute, but made me think West Ham, are they going to have enough to get out of that bottom 3? I don't know. Be interesting.
Well, come on then. Let's talk about it. Spurs 0, Nottingham Forest 3. Did you watch the match?
I did.
Right.
First 40 minutes, 100%. I was like, Tottenham are going to win this.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
And he looked in control and everything about it, and then it just went against.
Yeah, well, let's start from the start of the match. Well, even when the team bus turned up, fans created a great atmosphere. Everybody turned out. The support was there. They did their part, and they did their part all the way through. To be honest, apart from when it was 3-0 down, that was a capitulation. But I mean, the first 40 minutes, and like you said, relatively comfortable. But we missed quite a few chances, or a lot of chances weren't taken to go on target. And I just thought at that point, you know what? If we don't take one of these chances, they're going to come back and we'll get bitten. It's such a Spursy thing to do end of the day as well. And that's what happened, really. All Nottingham Forest had to do was sit back and just hit us on a counter, or just take the opportunity when it arose. And us being the way we are currently, we are fragile. The marking for so this first goal, I think it was the header was terrible. Yeah,
what I have a question for you though, Chris. What's he thinking taking Van der Ven off?
Well, here's the thing. Why would, after playing putting round pegs and round holes for the midweek match against Atletico Madrid, yes, he didn't have loads of players, but he played players in the right positions. And this time, he's got Porro at his right midfielder. He's got Van der Ven at left back. He hasn't done himself any favors there.
Taking him off at half time. He's one of your. It sounds crazy to be said, but he's one of your goal scorers.
Yeah, and he's up. You don't take your best players off ultimately. And Van der Ven, did he say something? He's said something. He's fallen out with him. I don't know. Half time, it sort of looks a bit like that, doesn't it? And obviously, some of the substitutions there, Spence coming off. I mean, yes, we went go behind, but we were in control. We were really in control. And then what happened is that we changed the system twice in the second half. I think it was. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And for me, yes, the players have a lot to take responsibility for. Some of them didn't turn up. Some of them capitulated or fell apart when there was pressure on them. They're just so flaky as a team currently. But you need your manager to back and stand firm in initial decisions. And he doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't know what he's doing, which is a real shame. There was a real lack of fight, I thought, all the way through as well. Yes, we were in control, but I didn't think there was people who really understood and really wanted to. If you put yourself on the pitch as a fan, you'd be there, slide it in, big tackles, rushing around, but still being in control. I think Tell was really good. He shows aggression. He was the only one, in my opinion, trying to take the player on as well.
But weird again, they moved his position. He was brilliant midweek.
Exactly.
And then we moved his position. I think so. Yeah, it's weird for me. I think the thing is, Chris, I think you're right. When you set the tempo, you can be in control with a high tempo. You don't have to be running around like headless chickens. You can still be in control. And I think it makes it hard when you don't have that tempo and you let the other team get on top of you. It sort of is hard to come back from, really.
Yeah, and fair play to Nottingham Forest. They took their chances when they had them. We didn't defend very well on all those chances, but at the same point they just soaked it up and hit us. And of course Morgan Gibbs-White scores. Of course he does. It's like Eze scores against us, hat-trick. any player we're linked with rises their game, or just the way it's written. I don't know what's, you can feel sorry for yourself as a Spurs fan, but what's the bloody point? There's no point feeling sorry for everybody else. Just got to get back on, dust off. Got a couple of weeks now. I was pretty sure that he was going to be sacked afterwards, because that was a rumor that if he lost this game, then he would be sacked and moved in. But who do you move in?
Dash is what they're after, isn't it? He moved he had to leave. He didn't do the press, did he? He had to leave. So apparently, he had a family emergency, didn't he?
Is that? Yeah. I mean, this is the other side of life. You got some compassion, of course. You have. His dad wasn't very well. I think he might have died as well. Actually, he passed away. He wasn't been very well for a while. So that's what I heard. So didn't do the after press conference there. I think you just got to make a business decision rather than an emotional decision on it, really, and go from there. I'm surprised it hasn't been done. Maybe it shows weak leadership that has been since. We always chastise Levy in particular, but he would definitely have made decisions earlier on a lot of these aspects. Great, you can say what you want if you're not in that position, but
but I think I was watching. I got the clip end of a Spurs podcast the other day, and I think people said, "Oh, if Levy was there, this isn't since Levy's left. This was." You just had a better points total to start with last season, didn't you? You were down there last season without knowing it, really.
And I think it's not just this season, mate. We were 17th last season for a reason as well. I mean, there are lots of reasons why we are where we are as Spurs, and yes, it's historic. It's the club itself factoring in the business side of it and the stadium, and not investing in the squad. Certainly not giving the wage structure for any manager to really push on, which is a shame. But
I know we're not talking about next fixtures, but you've got Sunderland away. I could see you getting something there, but we'll see what he does in this. But if you're going to change your manager, change it now. They've got the best part of 2 weeks without Premier League games, or a bit longer actually. You're better to get someone in to let him work with them now.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. The only thing is we don't have those international players. But I mean, to be honest, the first thing he needs to do is just stick on a system. We've got players back now. Stick on a system that works and work with the players he's got.
Because Dye should have him running now for 2 weeks. If you were there, you'd be sick. You'd call it the Gaffer's Day. It's quite famous. But if he would give you for 2 weeks, you'd be a better all-round team if he was going to come in and do that. Because you would stick. You would be hard to beat against Sunderland.
Mate, I don't know what the answer is. All I know is that when the Premier League comes back a couple of weeks' time, West Ham are playing on the Friday. And if they win, then we are playing on the Saturday against Sunderland away in the relegation zone. Yeah. So if it wasn't reality already for those players, people go on about being overpriced players, they're paid too much, etc. It's just what players are paid. So you just can't go for that.
You've still got a bit of personal pride though, haven't you? I know you'll get, if you're Mickey van der Ven, you're probably going to go to a top team and do that. But you've still got that personal pride of being relegated. If a Wolves player got relegated now, you'd say, do you know what? You've gone down. You've actually surprised us in the back half of the season. Spurs were never in contention for being relegated. That's the difference. So you'd have to live that burden on your shoulders. If Wolves got relegated, you'd go, well, Semi was expecting that. If Tottenham get relegated, that's not expected in this world, is it?
No, we've played ourselves into relegation, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've not. We started off from a higher bar. We should do. I mean, and to be honest, Nottingham Forest as well, their team, they've got enough players there to be a lot higher, but there are teams punching above their weight. Sunderland, Leeds, for example, as well. Even Palace as well. The players they've lost and still being able to sort of
safe,
be okay, be safe. They've done well, realistically. So yeah, it's not a great time to be a Spurs fan. I don't know what the answer is. I've been massively angry, massively depressed for periods as well. But hey, life's too short. There's lots of other stuff going on in the world.
Exactly. And at 4:30 in the afternoon, mate, it made your life a bit better.
100%. That is the only thing which I purposely, Spurs are so bad. I had to purposely watch Arsenal. I don't watch Arsenal for a reason, because it just irks me, because they are good. But on Sunday, where were they? Well, they weren't there.
I said it to you before. They scored 2 goals in us in the 90th minute. Side to side football. It's not. They've just been lucky that City have dropped points against people like you and stuff like that. They aren't. I said it exactly the same in the last podcast. When Man City won the league, or Liverpool, dare I say it, last year, they were insanely good. Like you expect, they would turn up and literally steamrolling teams within minutes, 2-0 up, 3-4, 5-1. They were. Arsenal aren't doing that. So fair play, they might still win it, but they aren't. I think they've again been helped by the run of other teams, which you need that, to be fair. I'm not taking it away from them, but they're not out and out champions yet.
No, the funny thing is, they complained about, Eze was injured, and Odegaard as well. He wasn't in the team there. But to be honest, they've played quite a lot of the season without both those players in the team. So I just think that Man City were better. They dominated, and Pep schooled him in regards to closing down with the front four. The wingers did a really good job. Doku.
Don't get spoke about enough, but that Rico Lewis scares me. He can play anywhere. He plays as a 10, he plays as a left back, he plays. Is it Rico? Yeah, the one that scored both goals.
Yeah, you mean
Rico? You know what I mean?
Rico, I know you mean, mate. I just
Williams. Is it Williams? Is it Williams?
No, it's he's in the England squad, isn't he? Here we go. Nico Riley.
Nico Riley, yeah. Sorry, yeah, Nico Riley, yeah. I said to Jai, frightening how good that lad is. But we've seen him before when they've put like Bob or whatever his name was into the team. They play him anywhere. They go and play for the likes of England. They can't because England aren't adaptable. Like Man City, when you're in possession, your left back plays in midfield or your right back plays in. It's just crazy. But he is, yeah. He doesn't get talked about enough for England, but you could play him left back. You could play him anywhere. He might not shine there, though, because we don't have as much flexibility as Man City to interchange between positions, but he's a good player. Very, very good player.
Well, what we'll do, we'll look at the league now, and then we'll come back after talking a bit of property stuff to look at the England selection. And obviously, we've got 2 players which are out of that now as well, and 2 new players put in there as well to talk about.
Some big names left out as well.
There was, mate. Well, we said that all the way through, didn't we? There's going to be some big names left out, and there will be come the final cut as well. There really will. But Man City, just finishing the League Cup up, Man City winning that 2-0 against Arsenal, really deserved to win it. High pressing, Bernardo Silva, cheeky player because so many little fouls, never gets picked up on them.
Should have been booked earlier, to be fair.
I would have hated to play against him, to be fair. But he knows exactly what he's doing, and they just knew what they were doing against Arsenal. They turned up on a one match, and I think maybe that's what happens when you've had a real consistent level of football all the way through seasons, year on year, and then your levels do drop naturally because you can just turn up and beat them if you play to your capacity, and it takes 1 or 2 players to drop and a change around. And they've had players go as well. Rodri looked good, to be fair, as well. I don't know if it was Arsenal, the midfield being not great and making him look better, but I thought he looked a lot better. He was intercepting as well. He was getting back to where I thought he should be, to be fair. And he is the world's best player when he's back fit. So
cheeky little keep ups as well. That's how confident they were. Cheeky little keep ups.
Oh yeah, you would hate that, mate, wouldn't you? That's like a five-a-side thing.
No wonder Ben White went for him. I was like, yeah, I could see that coming.
Not a fan of Ben White, but yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the league then. Arsenal, obviously, we didn't play. Man City didn't play, so those 2 didn't really change. Man U getting the point there as well, pushing themselves up. 55. Villa back on the board as well. 54 points in 4th, and then there being a 5-point gap to 5th. Yeah, I think they're going to keep that. I really do. I think that might be the top 4. What do you think?
But look at that though. They've gone from losing 3 to winning 1, and they've nearly, like you say, that's how it's crazy. They've, like you said, 5 points now with 7 games to go. You think you'd probably have enough, wouldn't you? But they're all interchangeable. 4, 5, and 6 are definitely interchangeable.
Yeah, and 6. I mean, that's Chelsea's form. It's not good. 2 losses, a win, couple of games ago, loss, draw. That's not great form either, is it? And saying that, Brentford, they've just got winning 3 draws in a row now. At least they get picking up points. But you could say, mate, all you need to do is win another game in a row and Brentford draw, and you're going to be. You could get up to 6th.
No, I think we'll finish where we are now at best.
So you're in 8th currently on 46 points. Brentford are above on 46 points. And then we've got Chelsea on 48 points. Chelsea aren't on form. Brentford are drawing.
Guess who we've got next? Brentford.
Oh, exactly. That's what I mean. Chelsea lose, you're going to be in 6th. Mate, that's good. That is good. Fulham on your heels a little bit. I mean, reasonable good form as well.
Yeah.
Recently. And then Brighton just ticking along mid-table. Consistent team, to be honest. Not bad at all. Bottom of the league. Oh God, Sunderland are actually moved above Newcastle as well with that win, which was going to irk every Geordie out there. Bournemouth, again, being really consistent. 5 draws in the last 5 games. Still picking up the points. Palace didn't play this one, so they got a game in hand. Leeds picked up a point at 33. Forest on 32 and Spurs on 30. And then the relegation zone, you've got West Ham a point behind on 29, Burnley on 20, and Wolves on 17. Suddenly, doesn't look too far away, does it? I mean, Wolves aren't going to get out of it. Burnley won't get out of it now anyway. It is definitely between West Ham and Spurs. Can Forest be dragged back into it? Of course they can. Can Leeds? Of course they can.
Yes. Yeah, they can, mate. To be fair, I think Palace, that's as much as Steve went there. I keep saying it. 10 points is 3 wins and a draw. Palace have got to be worse than West Ham. 3 wins and a draw. I can't see it with 7 games to go. No. I just can't see it. So I think you're right. I think below that is involved. Leeds another 3 points, and it'll probably move them further away. It won't mean they're safe, but it'll move it where they've just got to keep getting a couple of draws or matching results.
Yeah, I mean, the Spurs match against Sunderland a couple of weeks' time is mega important. We need to get 3 points. A draw is not enough because I do feel that West Ham, they've got, they can, if you look at the last couple of matches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 matches, got 3 draws, 1 win, 2 losses. Us, last 6 matches, 5 losses, 1 draw.
Yeah.
It's not looking good, bro.
No, it's not too fair.
We'll see, but again, I think it's still between the 4 teams: West Ham, Spurs, Forest, and Leeds. So all to play for.
When will actually Wolves go down? So they're how many points? 12 points. So they still did it, to be fair. I'm not that they're going to get out of it, but they're still a bit away from being. They can get.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? End of the day,
4 wins. About another 3 games before they get relegated, I'd imagine. 2 to 3. It depends how they get on the next one, but 2 to 3 games, I'd imagine they'll be relegated. Soon, then followed by the game after Burnley.
But it's the way that, I know they had capitulation at the start of the season, which is why they're in the trouble they are now. And ironically, they would be probably definitely top half if the form was the same as it was now. Mm-hmm. But you want to see that as a fan. It'd be good to hear from the Wolves fan about it, definitely, because ultimately they've put
look at that form.
Bit of pride back in it.
That form's as good as it's better than Sunderland's on that screen.
Yeah, last 6 they've
maybe Bournemouth is anyone you could say, but not really. What are they? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. They've got 1 more point than Bournemouth in the last 6 games. So
yeah, decent. Okay, let's quit off this for a bit and see where we are. Mate, let's talk about the market. A lot of stuff happening currently regards to interest rates, mortgage products, interest rate rises predicted now. Obviously, all driven by fuel, cost of living, the crisis as we have it, even down to fertilizer as well. I didn't know that fertilizer was, I think it's one of the straight FMUs is a massive deliverer of fertilizer as well. And if there's not enough fertilizer to go around, and also refinery of oil itself or machinery in the UK is really poor as well. Obviously, I've been listening to some radio stations. So interesting time, mate. How's that reflecting on the market when you feel? Because you still probably still selling. There's more good products still there. It's not it's not dead. It's not the death to it, but you just got
Yeah.
to be a little bit wary, haven't you? Really, I guess.
Yeah. So the people who've got agreement of principles are okay, aren't they? Because they've
Mm.
got something already. For them, it's actually probably important they lock a property in sooner rather than later and don't lose that rate. I think an agent, you've got to be cautious, because if you've got vendors with high expectations and reality is it's probably not a champagne market, it's a not even a Prosecco market, it's a Lamborghini market, probably potentially. But I'm not, like you said earlier, you can't be negative, because there's always people who've got to sell and buy and move house. But you've got to be, I think you've got to be a realist in this market and tell people, look, this is what I think now, but it's a very changeable market. And if we get something in the vicinity of that, we need to probably seriously consider it and try and pass it on to your next purchase if you're buying on or whatever. So, and just keep your mortgage advisor's got to be your best friend at the moment. I think you've got to.
Yeah.
It's not like I'll do it once and then I'll come back to when I find a house. It's right. I found this. What does that mean? If I need to, the 0.25% it's gone up on the mortgage. So what do I need now? You spend £8,000 less, right? Okay, I need to. I think if you're in the market to buy, you've got to be. Yeah, you've got to. I think it's very sensitive.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with regards to mortgage offers in particular. Obviously, they typically last for 3 months, don't they? And it's whether or not they're actually, if they've got the right to pull them and not offer them a guarantee for 3 months. There's no way you're going to get, unlikely you're going to get a transaction through in the 3-month time period from when you get your mortgage offer as well, I guess. So that'll be an interesting time, couple of months' time. But yeah, what I've seen on the auction side of it is it hasn't massively affected people wanting to sell, because obviously there's a need and certainty there. But I think that obviously if things happen in regards to affordability, a cost of living, and that increases, to be a bit of a strain for people, then it comes into the fact that actually I need to sell for that particular reason, and speed and certainty is definitely the way which
Yeah,
auction works from as a model anyway. But on the flip side of that, for buyers anyway, then obviously a vast majority of buyers get bridge and finance, get additional funding as well, and that is all down to affordability. And
yeah,
if there's a little bit of a wobble in the housing market, I'm not saying there's going to be, but if there is a little bit of a wobble in the housing market in regards to prices and things like that, then that has a knock-on effect to the buyers at auction as well, because obviously they're deemed by what they buy. They have to get that income from the end value, and a lot of them do buy it with funding and then refurbish or just refinance it straight away and take the money back out and go again. So that might have a slowdown, I guess, a little bit on buyers. I haven't seen it at all at the moment. And in fact, in adversity, there's always opportunity as well, isn't there? I
yeah.
don't know if that's a proper saying, but I've just made it. So
The saying of Chris Mervyn. Yeah,
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 I'm gonna be, mate. Today I'm gonna be the thinking man. There you
exactly. Thinking man.
go. Like
I need
Jimmy,
to
that's
stop
fine.
thinking, do more sleeping.
Yeah, 100%. But where do you see you? I mean, we're a long way off that sort of thing for the housing market in general, aren't we? The property market anyway. Have you seen? Has it been brought up on valuations a little bit, because people who are thinking about buying, maybe or selling, not in the next couple of months, and thinking actually, we're going to see where it is now, and we're going to assess it and see where we're at.
Not really. I think
Yeah,
you people still get blinkered by their own property, don't they? Beautiful
of
home,
course.
mine's the best on the street. You get
Yeah,
all
it will
that.
sell tomorrow.
It'll
Yeah.
sell tomorrow. So can I say for definite that I've heard about it? No. The oil thing is obviously making its way round. I tell you what does frustrate me a little bit is that certain publishing houses are allowed to say, "Oh, we think it's going to go up 0.25%," and the headline was "could rise 4 times this year." And then you read right to the bottom, and it says, "But actually, if we can,
More than likely, yeah.
more than likely, it'll only be 2." And it's like, it's got to be very careful about boom or
Clickbait.
bust, as you say all the time, boom or bust, clickbait, what actually is reality. And we've had people waiting to buy because they were told on the last Bank of England base rate that they were going to drop it. If they waited, they were going to drop it 0.25%. Why do we give people the information before? It just, I don't get it. We never normally do that. We wouldn't use that in the old days. We wouldn't say, "Oh, you'd find out on the day that's what's happening," because people now that have been waiting for the base rate to drop another 0.25%, they aren't now, are they? Because it's going to actually go up potentially. So it's sort of, you go on by what you read, and if this is an example of just acting the market you're in currently, is a pure example of it, really.
I think it creates a false rush, doesn't it, or a false hesitancy, which doesn't help anybody. That is the problem.
Last year, we're going to change stamp duties. What did everyone do?
Yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah,
complete that, am I? If in 2 weeks' time we're going to change, I'll just delay it. Well,
exactly.
it's just frustrating. I think very frustrating. It's so interchangeable and affected by what people say the property market, because everybody's an estate agent, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the problem is that they're trying to the interest rate using the interest rates to sort of slow down inflation, which is not what it's there for, really. Fuel will have a massive knock-on effect, but I mean, end of the day, you kind of got to just move along with it. And we're a byproduct of us not having anything in the country now, aren't we? We can't do anything. We import everything, which is we should be there should be an element of, even if it's, in my opinion, a third of what you do is in the country. So when these things happen, it doesn't affect you so much, but we're massively affected by things happening where we've got no control over. And we're not a superpower. We haven't got any defense now,
We're too quick to outship everything because our cost of everything here is so expensive. We will outsource everything, and then we're like,
there should be
we're going to pay for it. Yeah,
there should be a protectionism, shouldn't there, of something in regards to actually this is we're actually a base manufacturer. What does that mean? Well, we're in the 35% or 40% of people of companies which are based in the UK, which provide for the UK.
But why can't we? We're getting very political, and it's not as simple as that. But why can't we charge less taxes for things that are produced in our country than they are if you're imported? So an import tax. Not saying don't lower the rate of it because it can put import tax up. Because that's not what I'm saying. But there's an element of, if you don't work in China, you're basically employed by China Steel, and there's fields and fields and fields and miles of just steel sat there. They've got no purpose for it, but their unemployment rate is low because of, if you don't work, you basically go and work for China Steel or whatever it's called. And I've seen this video of a drone thing flying over it, and there's just fields and fields of steel that they've got no use for. So when you want to do something, we import it from there because guess what? It's really cheap because they just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But then we're cutting a nose off by our own face.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is, mate. I'll be honest with you. I'm not that educated, but there must be some way they could have done it. And it all has a knock-on effect. Like you said, it's the uncertainty which kills and pauses the market, the housing market in general, and that affects auctions as well. Hesitancy for things like interest rates, hesitancy for there's going to be job losses, hesitancy for food prices, everything going up as well, fuel prices, and then people, having a rush on the petrol stations, as your place did, because they want to go on holiday. So I don't think we're quite there yet, regards to having the people, worry about not being able to go on a holiday. And for a lot of people, that's their main driver in life, isn't it? So, and who's to judge? Everybody gets down a different way. So, but the housing market in general, I think that it will always survive. It's just, it has to. I don't like speculation either. If it was a stock market where you get tipping off, where people like go do a rush on a particular share, that's kind of what it feels like sometimes. People are holding off, or people getting this product is going to be pulled, that kind of thing. I don't know what it is, but all you got to do is act in the moment and give good advice as and when it happens, really. And
Exactly.
I noticed what you've been doing as well. You've been putting stuff on Facebook and the updates about where we are in life as well.
Yeah, what I think, be positive, like Sid said to you, I see it a bit, it's not negative, it's just reality. And I'm a realist, so it's very what the reality of today looks like. But as you just said, mate, people are still going to need to move house. People are having babies, people are having affairs, people are getting divorced. Unfortunately, people are passing away. There's going to be people buying and selling. It's just, you've got to, the chances in the market are going to be less. So you've got the wheat from the chaff of the ones that actually are going to transact, and you've got to find them as an agent. That's your job. If you need a certain amount of listings or deals per month, you've got to find them, and you've got to find the people that are definitely going to transact.
Definitely. Definitely. Right, let's move on to the England squad, mate. That was named this week. Here we go. Let me make this a bit bigger. Not the best graphic, that.
That's fine. I can see it, mate. So it's good.
Yeah. 5 goalkeepers. I guess he's just having a look at some of them, but
yeah,
what a waste.
But I think for me though, everyone's moaned about Jason Steele going in there. Ramsdale's back in Newcastle's team. That's fine, but you're not going to play Jordan Pickford in these England internationals, because having them people there as a goalkeeper is probably the hardest one to take the position of a goalkeeper. Is Jason Steele actually going to get any game time? If not, what you take him into a camp for him to show you what he can do in training? It's difficult. Because arguably the rest of them, yes, everyone's moaning about it being a 33-man squad, but there's an element of take the 5 goalkeepers out of it. Even if you took them into it, you've got 20 outfield players over 180 minutes. You could nearly field everybody for 45 minutes, couldn't you? And you've got some in there you don't need to see play because of they're already England internationals. You know what they do. They're in there to have the experience to show around. So I think there's an element of you can get most of them in. It's just the goalkeepers. I don't see that working that well, to be fair.
I don't. For those of those who aren't watching and just listening, goalkeepers are Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, James Trafford, Aaron Ramsdale, and Jason Steele. And I know that they've given the first week off for the just kind of regulars. Is that right? To not go and train, etc. So I just don't see. Yeah, I don't see why. I mean, experience is great, and he obviously sees something in there. I don't get all those goalkeepers, to be honest. I think there's so many different positions where you could have brought other people in as well. Defenders: Dan Burn, Mark Gay, Lewis Hall, Ezri Konsa, who's now out, and
Ben White.
Ben White's come in for him from Arsenal. Tino Livramento, Harry Maguire, Nico O'Reilly, Jared Quansah, Jed Spence, John Stones, Tomori.
Right, mate. We're gonna play a 4-5-1. Pick your 4 defenders. So tell me your 4: left back, centre back, right back.
If this was the England squad for the World Cup now, yeah.
No, out of them there now.
Yeah.
For the first game, you're playing a 4-5-1. Who are you picking?
Apart from Mark Gay, there's no one really massively standing out in good form, to be fair. I mean, I like Jed Spence, but I don't think he trusts him enough yet.
Playing out of them, I'm playing
Livramento. He's on form.
Maybe. I'm playing Mark Gay. I'm playing Nico O'Reilly at fullback.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna play.
Don't say Maguire. Maguire.
I'm probably going to say John Stones.
John Stones, yeah.
But even though he don't play Man City, so I don't know why I'm saying that. And then my left back's probably. I might play Lewis Hall, you know.
I think Lewis Hall's a good player.
And play Nico O'Reilly at right back.
Yeah, and I'll probably put, depending on when Jed Spence on at some point, just to freshen it up. He's got good legs.
He's in the second 45 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Midfielders: Elliot Anderson, Jude Bellingham, James Garner, Jordan Henderson, Kobe Mainoo, Declan Rice, Morgan Rogers, Adam Wharton. Before we start talking about those midfielders, can I ask the question? After watching the Cup final of the weekend, Declan Rice, world class? Question mark.
It's a tough one, mate, isn't it? Because
here's my take on him. I think he's a really good player. Yeah. And he's definitely grown into his role in his team. It's definitely outstanding player there. I think when you're talking world class, these are people who can make a difference in every match and don't shy away. And I think Paul Scholes said it on something as well. He just seems to, some of the big games, I think he's just not the next level. When you look at those midfielders there, the only people I would say are world class who can make that difference is probably Jude Bellingham in the international scene when he's fully fit. Out of those midfielders,
and the others you'd follow in this season with Morgan Rogers after that, and after that, I'm not saying he's world class, but I think he's a game changer. But I agree with you after that.
Yeah,
I think I think you probably got with Declan Rice is maybe as a holding midfielder or in that particular 8 role, maybe 6 or an 8, you might not. You don't realise what they do until they're not there. I suppose a bit like Rodri, even though he's at that level
I get
above.
that.
He's not a flair player that's going to excite you, but you sort of need that. It's sort of, I can't see Elliot Anderson and James Garner. I think they're fighting for the same position.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're fighting for.
Maybe it's the way that there's been a lot of criticism about who was it? Saka in the Arsenal squad currently. He's been not the same player when he came back, but maybe that's because the coach wants him to play in a certain way, and maybe that's the same thing with Declan Rice. So I stand to be corrected. I just don't see where he is currently, and if he comes out as a worldie and win the World Cup, then great, yeah, brilliant. But I mean,
I hope James Garner gets a run as well, actually, because he's been class for us this year. Him and Kieran Dewsbury all have been outstanding.
Yeah, this is where I have a problem with the goalkeepers, mate, on that number. I think there's a place for Dewsbury Hall there. I just don't see why he's not been put in there.
Well, obviously, want the reserves either because he's brought in Ben White and who's the other one? He's brought in another one, hasn't he? Ben White and...
Oh, no, Harvey Elliott. But the Harvey Elliott thing, is he going to play him just so he doesn't go and play for Scotland? That's just...
Yeah, but how he's not been playing for Aston Villa and he's not that good of 5-10 seasons where you can go, I know exactly what he can do. I don't get it. But I mean, players back in the team. He doesn't start from every week. He doesn't start. That's why I don't know.
Yeah, Rodgers, I can see why he's in there. Adam Wharton, definitely, because he is a talent, 100%. Is he the same player as a backup to Declan Rice? Well, possibly, but he plays in a slightly different position sometime. Kobe Mainoo, again, he's in that same sort of mould, isn't he, when he's on form? So I can see why he's been put in there because he hasn't let England down, and certainly he's come back into form since he's been playing. But that's a difficult one. Henderson, right? I'm going to say something which irks me. I give him his dues. He's been playing. He's played well this season for his team, and possibly one of the reasons why they've been holding where they are in the league. But is that where we are at England? Is that the future? When you've got
definitely not the future.
When you've got a couple of weeks there with all these other players, I get
maybe
the thing
he brings him in around for a bit of experience and a bit of senior head round him. I think, but
I get that.
I'd be surprised
Harry
if he plays.
Kane. You've got other players. If he plays, again, I don't really massively care with England unless they're in the World Cup in a big competition. But I just don't get that. James Garner, if you're going to bring players in, you need to play them. Definitely. Jude Bellingham, well, he is a big time player. And if he didn't play, I wouldn't be too bothered because he's going to be there anyway. Elliot Anderson, the same thing. He needs to have some time and have some game time.
Because he's gone downhill a little bit. I know Forest have been struggling, but at the start of the season, he was a world beater.
Yeah, I didn't think he was. I mean, he's obviously got quality. But you suffer with the team, don't you? And then perhaps when you come to England, you elevate yourself. One of the things which he did do is put Phil Foden in the attacking lineup rather than the midfielders. So let's have a look at the attacking lineup here. Jared Bowen, Calvert-Lewin in the squad. Eze, who is out now, and Harvey Elliott's not Harvey Elliott. Who's the player? Can't remember the player now. The guy from Newcastle,
Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes, sorry, yeah, Harvey Barnes is in there now as well. I just don't get that. Phil Foden's in there. When he came on, Phil Foden in the cup match, I just thought it was like there we go, we'll put him on. I just didn't make what's happened to him? What has happened to him? Gordon, totally been playing well. Left side is a weak side for us, isn't it? Harry Kane, of course, he's the first player you put on a list. Madueke, in my opinion, not brilliant, but Cole Palmer, God, he's done well getting in there since he's dropped off as well. Rashford, he likes Rashford. Rashford will be starting on the left.
He can play from the left, can't he? That's what you just said. Yeah. You've got Gordon, him, and Madueke, and I'd imagine that's why Madueke. He's not a bad player. That's why he's there because there's a particular role that they can play through the left.
definitely. Saka, well, he's never letting them down, to his credit, and he is a good player on his day, on the right. And then Solanke, where he's just in there because he's obviously knows him from old. He is not match fit at all. But again,
Probably does
on
you
his
more
day,
damage with him being away from Tottenham training,
I think you're right. And I don't know who else has gone for. If we've lost a few of the other players for the strikers as well. If a new manager's coming to Spurs, then he's not going to be able to work with Solanke. Now, don't get me wrong. Solanke is the type of player who'd be able to fit in as long as he's playing in the right position. And this is where we have issues with when they're asked to do things which are not natural to them. The good thing about
I'm getting game time, because I think that's plan B. I think plan B is
Calvert-Lewin.
knock the ball into Calvert-Lewin and get runners around him. And we've always said, well, we haven't got a plan B as England. If he's fit, you have got a plan B, because Harry can drop into that sort of 10 role. Dominic can play the 9 role, and you can get the ball into him.
Yeah.
You can knock the ball into him, and it will stick.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think
that's why I can see him, Tuchel, playing him, because he'll want to see what plan B looks like.
Yeah, definitely.
But if I'd say with him is, it sounds crazy, but with 4 and a bit weeks, maybe, sorry, a bit longer than that, probably 7 weeks left of the football season, anything can happen to that poor man. So you've got to be very careful how that goes, to be honest.
If I was a Leeds fan, Solanke has not been with it since he's come back, to be honest, for Spurs. He's put his effort in, but he is shy, and he tends to get strained by looking at the ball sometimes as well. A bit like, maybe it's in the name, a bit like Calvert-Lewin as well. So yeah, if I was a Leeds fan, I'd be looking at Calvert-Lewin thinking, oh, please don't play, please don't train too hard. Just do your usual stuff, come back to us, because I think that he will be a loss to them. Even it's just his presence. I mean, he's been scoring, of course he has, but even his presence there, as you said, as
he keeps the ball away from your goal for longer periods of time because of what he does. And I've been that firsthand at Everton. Ball sticks in there, he heads it forwards, he heads it upwards, he heads it. The pressure he puts on to kick the ball out for a throw in, he keeps the ball away from your goal. But England don't need that, but Leeds possibly do.
So who's your omissions there? I mean, we talked about Judy Hall. I would have put him in, definitely, if this is one of those squads where you want to look at players.
Ollie Watkins
out of it. I mean, he scored a couple of times in his last couple of games, but he has been out of form. Maybe I'd be surprised if he isn't put back in later on, because I think he's that type of player who's a little bit different to Kane.
Yeah, but like you just said, he knows what he does, don't you? So you don't need to really see him now. It's probably you want to see what plan B looks like. You want to see what Dominic Solanke looks like. Maybe Maduaki's, the rest of them, I'd imagine, are there or thereabouts. But I always feel a bit sorry for Jarrod Bowen. He didn't really get to play for England very often, but he's a game changer for his own team. But he didn't always get to play, because I suppose it's a hard position when you've got Saka on one wing and Rashford on the other, and Harry Kane up front. Like you said, Harry Kane's your first pick. It's difficult to then break that down, isn't it?
But he can play 10 as well, can't he, to come forward, Bowen? So
yeah, but we've got Palmer, Foden,
not in form.
Yeah, but they're the ones that he'll want to play. They're the ones that he'll play as 10.
I'm going to put it out there. If Foden doesn't pick up his form, I know he loves him. I know Tuchel loves him, but I would take Palmer over Foden. And that's hard to say, because he was immaculate season before last. But the drop is so substantial, is quite scary, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, any your team you wish that you got in there, apart from Dewsbury Hall?
The thing is, though, mate, you throw Dewsbury Hall in there, and he probably would play as your 10. Is that's probably the hardest thing. He's probably looked at and gone, I want to play Foden, I want to play Palmer. I could play Bowen in there. I could play Dewsbury Hall in there. It's probably thinks it's unlucky. I think James Garner offers you something in midfield that, if Elliot Anderson's form drops, weirdly, you look at their midfield, and I don't think there's a better holding midfielder in there. In fact, actually, I'm going to say it. I think he's playing better than Elliot Anderson at the moment. So he sort of talked himself into that screen, that holding midfielder role. Is probably him at the moment.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see if he gives them all game time, really, to compare, which he 100%
definitely him and Elliot Anderson are the two you're going to rotate. But I would say he's edged Elliot Anderson this season from this, but certainly the back half of the season. Definitely.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right, mate. He really has. I think that you get dragged down with your team sometimes as well, don't you? And you have to look at a few Spurs players to see that as well.
And you could ask him for a minute right back. I know you've got lots of right backs: Jed Spence, O'Reilly, other people that can play there, Hall, Livramento, who can play there. But if he was in a World Cup, you could throw him. You're in a game that you need to change something. You could throw, if he's on the pitch, you can ask him to go play right back.
I think O'Reilly is in with a good shout to claim a starting place where he's going currently. Really do. So good, mate. Well, we'll see what happens, eh? Going to be interesting times ahead, shall we say. Let me move that out to the screen. There we go. Okay, so busy old week ahead.
Good luck with your auction tomorrow, mate, as well.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's looking good. Looking good. Some good numbers there. So yeah, it's every 6 weeks, always amazing to get to this time a day before an auction, and you're like, okay, so where are we? And usually you're right with your predictions, and I am pretty much right with where I thought properties would be. One or two surprises. One is like, well, why hasn't that got more interest? But in general, pretty happy with the response levels really, and yeah, should be a good one as well. And May auction's looking really good as well. So touch wood at this point, but who knows in this world we live in? What could change? What's around the corner? And congratulations with your sales, mate. I've seen those sale balls come up as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we're on what are we on now for March? We are on 10, soon to be 11 after this podcast, and that is on the 24th. So I'm really pleased with that.
Oh, he's got an offer to tie up already on his desk. You can't keep him down. You can't keep him down. Well, thanks a lot, guys. That's it for today on today's podcast. Thanks for listening to Property Premier League. I've been your host, Chris Mervyn, ably assisted by Jamie Asland. Thank you, Jay. We'll be back next week with more insights and debates from the world of property and the beautiful game. They think it's all over. Well, you know the rest.